Okay, so what can we conclude, or in our chronological progression here? It appears they've taken the 91s, changed the sight graduation, so everybody understands how to use the sights. I think they may have changed the front sight blade. That's still up to question. And then when it came to the wood, the handguards, the upper handguards, were all left alone. There was no modification whatsoever. Some of the markings on these stocks are from like Russian use or whatever, and one of them I believe could be an Austrian replacement or devoid of anything, which I think if it was still the Russian stock, it would have something on it. And basically, they must have disassembled these guns, inspected them, and okayed them. Now, they're all mismatched and built from parts and pieces, so they overhauled them, inspected them, put them back in their stocks, and if the stocks were fine, all of these stocks are shimmed. So that means they must have disassembled and re-inspected all of these guns, okay, and only did changes and modifications that were necessary. You know, some of them just had the sight graduation stamped in, and the stocks were shimmed to their satisfaction, okay, for accuracy. Some of these guns, so that's about all the work they've done on the stocks. Whatever was necessary to get it to their acceptable standards, then reissued. And obviously, if it worked, they never upgraded or changed it, because that's how these guns have survived all these years in this configuration. It worked, it was fine, and it didn't get worn out or damaged over time. So that's how they ended up storing it in the end, before they sold them as surplus. Pretty interesting. So that's it on how they modified the stocks, and we do have one example where they rebuilt and reworked the stock. So that must have been because a gun come across with a broken stock. So they only did the rework as necessary. Very cost effective, very cost efficient, and it got the guns back into service quicker, just leaving them alone if they met the criteria or standards that they had. So that's about, oh, and like the barrels, some of these barrels are counterbored. So when they did that inspection, if there was an issue with the muzzle, one or two of these does have a counterbore. So that was like the quick accuracy fix if you had an issue with the muzzle, which is pretty standard when you overhaul guns in an arsenal. All right, now we're going to get in to the barrels in the next one, and this is where it's going to get kind of complicated in the early models, and then eventually we'll get to our modification of the M28 Civil Guard rifle.